Kilometer, Kreisverkehr, erste Ausfahrt. Schaffst du das? Da geht's einen Berg runter, du Affe. Da kommt auch noch eine Kurve vorher. Da kommt eine Kurve vorher. Alter Scheiß. Das machst absichtlich, ne? Nie wieder steige ich hier rein. Echt? Oh, ich hab schon so einen Hals.
Never again. It was a perfect late summer morning at the gorgeous Lake Tegernsee, and the sunlight cast a radiant glow on the majestic mountains that framed the Bavarian landscape. When I woke up at my guest house, I was greeted by the soothing sound of flowing water. As I stepped outside onto the balcony, the crisp morning air filled my lungs, and I could hear the calls of birds in the distance. After a hearty breakfast at the guest house, I decided to take a walk around Lake Tegernsee. Having spent the last days on the road, strolling along the shores of the lake felt like therapy. However, Lake Tegernsee also marked a turning point in my road trip. From this moment onward, my journey would gradually lead me back to my hometown Düsseldorf. And so, after this brief respite, it was time to bid farewell to the Bavarian mountains, turn the key in the ignition, and hit the open road once more. The weather was perfect, and cruising along the Bavarian country roads in my MX-5 was an absolute joy. Suddenly, on the open road, a vintage car came into view. A C2 Corvette Stingray, gleaming in the sunlight. As I passed the iconic vehicle, I was left with a smile and a renewed appreciation for the spontaneous surprises of my road trip. A bit farther down the road, I found a scenic spot that beckoned for a pause, and I took a moment to appreciate the elegance of my own trusty automotive companion. After a short rest, I climbed back into the driver's seat, ready to continue the journey and eager to uncover what the road had in store for me. As I made my way through the scenic Bavarian countryside, a tapestry of lush greenery and rolling hills unfolded in my rearview mirror. The engine hummed with the familiar melody of its 4 cylinders as I accelerated towards my next destination. A short stopover in the charming town of Murnau am Staffelsee. Murnau had a cute vibe, and I enjoyed strolling down its narrow cobbled streets. However, my next destination already awaited, the famous Andechs monastery, and so after a quick bite to eat, I resumed my journey. The road stretched out ahead under a perfect blue sky. Each passing mile and each turn of the wheel through the sweeping curves brought about a sense of sheer driving pleasure and underscored why they say that the MX-5 provides the most smiles per gallon. After half an hour on the road, I reached the century-old Andechs monastery. Established in the Middle Ages, the monastery is renowned as a pilgrimage church, but also as one of the few authentic monastic breweries that are still operated by the establishment itself. More importantly, however, it was also where I had agreed to meet my sister, whom I hadn't seen for ages. After our visit to the monastery, my sister and I decided to take a relaxed walk through the refreshingly cool forest that stretched between the monastery and the nearby Lake Ammersee. When we reached the shores of Lake Ammersee, we discovered a cozy spot, settled down in the late summer heat, and enjoyed the first signs of an impending sunburn. After an hour or so, we left the lake behind and returned to our cars. Our stopover for the night was Munich, and we still had quite a drive ahead of us. As we approached the outskirts of the Bavarian capital, the sunlight cast a warm glow over the road, and a hint of melancholy crept in. I knew that I was on the homeward stretch of my road trip and that my vacation would soon be over. Nevertheless, I managed to push that thought aside. Upon our arrival in Munich, we opted to cap off the day with beer and dinner at a traditional Bavarian restaurant. The next day in Munich greeted me with the quintessential Bavarian Kaiserwetter. Crystal clear blue skies and brilliant sunshine creating the perfect backdrop for my day on the road. And I had quite the journey ahead of me. Initially, a brief visit to the city of Regensburg, followed by a reunion with my old friend Chris in Nuremberg later in the day. The roads initially promised a smooth journey. However, my excitement of the open road quickly encountered an obstacle. Right after leaving the city limits, I found myself in the middle of a traffic jam, and the movement slowed to a crawl. And then, all of a sudden, something quite unexpected happened, and I received a FaceTime call from my Swedish uncle, Beppe.
Hi, Jordan. Hello.
Hello, Beppe. What a pleasant surprise.
So you're on the road again.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd sing a song for you to cheer you up.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
I mean, it can't be nice driving around in that ugly car and having nothing to do. So I thought I'd sing a song for you. It's a traditional song, a George Formby song. It's called Leaning on a Lamp. I'm leaning on a lamp. Maybe you think I look a tramp, or you may think I'm hanging around to steal a car. But no, I'm not a crook. And if you think that's what I look, I'll tell you why I'm here and what my motives are. I'm leaning on a lamppost at the corner of the street in case a certain little lady comes by. Oh me, oh my, I hope that little lady comes by.
My uncle's musical support came at just the right moment, and, as if by magic, the traffic jam in front of me dissolved, allowing me to resume my journey toward Regensburg.
I hope that little lady comes by. I know of the girl I would wait for, but this one I break any date for. I won't have to ask what she's late for. She wouldn't leave me flat, she's not a girl like that. No, she's absolutely wonderful and marvelous and beautiful, and anyone can understand why. I'm leaning on a lamppost at the corner of the street in case a certain little lady passes by.
Upon reaching Regensburg, I took some time to explore its historical charm, wandering through medieval streets and enjoying the unique atmosphere of this gorgeous city. Once again, a wave of nostalgia washed over me. Many years prior, I had worked in Regensburg for several months as part of my trainee program, and being back after all this time brought back a flood of memories. After a satisfying visit, I got back on the road, heading towards Nuremberg to meet my friend Chris. The changing landscape provided diverse and picturesque views, making the journey very enjoyable, and I was looking forward to reconnecting with my old buddy.
But hold on. Before I continue my way to Nuremberg, there are a couple of things that you should know about Chris. The first thing is we got to know each other while we were both studying in China in 2005 for half a year. During that time, we also went to Tibet for 2 weeks. And while there, Chris made a habit of feeding all the animals that we met along our way with our travel provisions. Cookies, bread rolls, and small sausages with, let's say, questionable ingredients. The other thing is that Chris drives a kick-ass C6 Corvette. One of my all-time favorite cars, and indeed one of the alternatives that I was looking into myself before I got the MX-5. But I'm not going to tell him that, otherwise he might just get a little too cocky. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Continuing my journey from Regensburg to Nuremberg was a delight, as the highway stretched out before me. The drive was smooth, and gentle curves here and there added to the enjoyment of the ride. As I arrived in Nuremberg in the late afternoon, the setting sun cast warm hues over the city, creating a beautiful ambience. However, little did I know what the next day had in store for me.